Hello everyone, welcome back. It's Ark Bean here, and I'm bringing you guys a triple whammy. So today we're gonna do 3 smaller sized projects, the most important of which is the one that's going to fill up this corner right behind me, which is of course the enchantment setup. We're gonna need bookcases and an enchanting table and a way to get some good XP. However, we are short on one particular resource. That resource, of course, being leather. So we can obviously put covers on the books so we can build bookshelves and get this whole thing going. So first we're going to have to get a bunch of leather, but I'm not going to do it the traditional way of just running around and killing a bunch of cows. Instead, I'm going to show you guys how to build a cow crusher. That is the first one of our 3 mini projects. So a cow crusher. We have in our project box all the materials, which is this top row. This bottom row we'll get to later. So we're just going to need some basic building blocks, a hopper, chest, fence post, a bucket of water, which I already had in my inventory, some torches, and some wheat. So the way a cow crusher works is because of a thing called entity cramming. So entity cramming is basically where you have 24 of mobs of creatures standing on one block. 24 can exist happily on one block, but as soon as you add a 25th one of them is going to die. So pretty much we're going to get some cows in here, make them all stand on one block, and we're going to breed them with the wheat, so that way they make baby cows, and once the baby cows come up, that pushes the limit over the 24. One of the adult cows will die, and we will get the meat and the leather. So the first thing you're going to want to do is dig down a couple blocks here. I've chosen to do it under this little alcove just because seemed like a good fit for it. So we're going to want to dig down a couple blocks here and make it sort of like a staircase right here. There we go. We can replace this stone with a piece of dirt just for aesthetic reasons. Our collection chest, which is this one little guy down here, we're going to put right there. Then on the back of that collection chest is where we're going to put our hopper. So anything that gets dropped into this hopper will get picked up and put into the chest. Very nice. Which reminds me, seeing as how I just dropped the baked potatoes. So you guys saw for a while I was eating bread, which is fine. But obviously I was running low on bread. I mean, I do have the wheat, the garden behind me, but it doesn't produce that much wheat. And as I kept taking damage, because, you know, we fall all the time, we're going to need some food to boost that health back up. So I'm running low on wheat. So I grabbed the potatoes, and I'm like, yes, I will bake these potatoes. It's going to be great. We're going to have a better food source than bread. And that's a lie. Potatoes are not better than bread. I mean, maybe they are slightly, but either way, baked potatoes are still one of the lower forms of food. All right. Now that I've got my rant over with, we can continue on with the cow crusher. Next, you're going to want to, well, I guess you could leave these blocks dirt, but I'm going to remove these. And I'm going to put logs in their place, just to make it look better, just like so. We are going to want to craft up a crafting table first, and then a stair block. So we'll grab this here. Make a couple more planks. And grab that. So this stair block, you're going to want to go, I guess it doesn't matter the angle, but I like mine like that, just so that way we could still open the chest. If you put a full block over that, you won't be able to open it, and cap it off with another log. Now, in order for this farm to be fully effective, you're going to want to put a water bucket right there on top of the hopper. This way, it's easier to breed all the cows, because once there's a bunch of cows in here, you'll breed like 4 or 5 of them, but then you won't be able to reach the other one because hitboxes get in the way. But if they're standing on the water, they'll be jumping up and down, and that allows you to breed them easier, which I will show you guys later. I'll show you what I mean. Refill that just in case. The next part is the hard part. So we are going to have to go out into the wilderness and find some cows. It appears as though Minecraft has called a farm animal convention and the cows were not invited. So I have to keep looking, I guess. Aha! We have found the quarry. Looks like there's only one, but one's better than zero. So we'll grab it, and hopefully we'll get another one on the way. And if not, we'll have to keep looking. You're just going to want to lead it home with the wheat. Eventually it will take notice that you have wheat in your hand and follow you all the way, pretty much anywhere. So once you've got your cow all the way over here to your cow crusher, you're going to want to try to get him to hop up on the logs here. And then once he's up here, don't let him go back down, and you're going to want to try to nudge him into the hole here. Now the hitboxes are kind of close, so you have to get it right on. Like you can see, he's just sort of hovering over the hole here. There it went. Alrighty. He shouldn't be able to get out as long as he's in there. Now we just need one more, so that way we can breed him up. You're just going to want to repeat the process for the second cow. Get it to hop up here on the logs. Oop. Might be a little difficult with the first one being there, but you're just going to want to nudge it in, like so. Oops. Alright, so in this instance, what you're going to want to do is build up a block, have a little sort of ramp for the cow, but this way the jumping cow won't be able to push the not jumping cow out of the way. Just gonna keep on pushing here. Eventually should drop in. There we go. Once you've got those two in there, you're going to want to take your fence post that we had in the project box and put it above them. Then we can take out these temporary blocks. And there you have it. You have two cows that cannot escape on the water. And then you're just going to want to take your wheat and breed them up, and they will make a baby cow. So there we go. The parrots and the bats, we got the achievement, and we now have 3 cows in there. Once you get to 24, you can breed them up some more, and whatever ones that spawn will cause an adult cow to die. Now, luckily, Minecraft is generous in that way, in that when a baby cow is born, causing the number to go up to 25, it will never kill another baby cow, therefore wasting a cow. It will always kill an adult cow, so you always get drops out of the bottom here. So yeah, there's no need to keep an accurate count of how many cows you have in there. Just every 5 minutes, come over here and give them some wheat, and just wait until they start dying, and then once they start dying, you'll know it's full. The reason we have the torches is just to light up a little bit, make sure mobs don't come over here, because should a creeper blow this up, these cows will be going everywhere. You can only breed them once every 5 minutes or so, so seeing as how I just bred them, if I were to try to feed them, it's not working. So yep, I'll catch you guys once this bad boy's full. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see, we have quite the pool of cows in our cow crusher. There should be exactly 24 in there. I just used the F3 menu and looked at the value next to the E. So whatever wheat we put in here should result in the death of a cow, and we'll see the drops come out. I'll demonstrate right now. So if we just hop up here, put our cursor around the bottom here, you can step down and get a different angle. Some of them will die here. And yep, you saw one die there, and you'll see the drops come out the bottom. So in just that little batch of 12 wheat, we got 11 beef and 3 leather. So in order to do a full 15 bookshelf enchantment setup, we need 1 leather per book, 3 books per shelf, 15 shelves, which means we need a total of 45 leather. So if we have 17 here, and 3 from our farm, or from our cow crusher, that is, that means obviously we have 20. So now that you guys can see it fully working, I will once again do another little cut here, and I'll see you guys when we have all the materials we need for the enchantment setup. Alrighty folks, if you look down in my hotbar, you'll see I have 48 total leather. Therefore, that means we have enough to do our enchantment setup. However, while I was waiting for the cows to breed and for their cooldown to finish, I was thinking, why the heck did we build Music Disc Farm? I just remembered we built it, and it was, of course, as I said in the first video, so we can listen to music while we're playing. So I'm going to grab our diamond here, and we already have wood, so we're going to craft our jukebox. Let's see, I think it's 2 around in the middle. There we go, got our jukebox. And while I was waiting for the cows to sort of recharge, I went up to the farm and grabbed one of my personal favorites of the music discs, which is of course Stall. And so while I build this enchantment setup, I will go ahead and take out my voice audio, because, you know, not everyone wants to hear my voice for hours on end. And instead we'll jam out to Stall. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, now that we got our enchantment setup all finished, of course, before we start enchanting, we're going to need a way to get some XP. Luckily, I have a solution to get a little bit of XP. It's not a lot, not like a blaze farm or an enderman farm or anything, but it'll get us a little bit, and it will also provide us with fuel, so we'll never have to mine coal again. This is, of course, going to be a kelp farm. So here are pretty much the materials you're going to need. Just a few building blocks, the kelp itself, hoppers, a couple of smokers, a couple of chests, and you're going to need probably more pickaxes than what I have here. So the first step to making this kelp farm is going to be deciding where you want the output to be. So in this case, I want the dried kelp, the finished product, to be in a chest right here on the floor. Okay, so we'll just go ahead and grab our chests here, plop those down, and of course the chest is going to be receiving the dried kelp from the hopper, or from the smokers. So we need to put our hoppers there and our smokers there. So that's pretty much what we're going to be seeing once the kelp farm is finished. The next step is going to be the harder step. So we're going to have to dig all this out. And it's at this point you're going to want to decide the dimensions of your farm. So seeing as how I have 5 blocks between these 2 posts, I'm going to do 5 blocks wide and 4 blocks deep. So 4 blocks in this direction right here. Just dig out, I don't know, 2 or 3 high for now, and then I'll show you guys the next step. So once you've dug this section out, you're going to want to put in the system that's going to collect the kelp from the farm and put it into the furnaces. Now I miscalculated here because of the way hoppers work. It's going to be a little bit difficult to get kelp to go into both furnaces. However, there is a solution. And that solution is a couple more chests. So if we put our chests here, and 1 hopper going into each of the furnaces from the chest, and then we have our line of hoppers going into the chest. So we'll have, it doesn't really matter here, those 2 can both be going into the chest, and these ones each going into the next. As you can see, I have dug more than just 4 back, so I actually have 4 back from the hoppers, not from here. It's actually 5 across, because I knew that we were going to have hoppers here and there'll be no kelp growing in this row. So since we've had to put our hoppers up so high, we're going to want to dig this out a little bit more. 2 blocks above it should be suffice. While we're here, might as well go ahead and fill in this gap with dirt, as this is going to be filled with water eventually. You can do this later. I'm just choosing to do it now. So we have, I believe, an appropriate height here. Yep, looks good. So now what we're going to want to do is dig down 28 blocks. So, well, we've already dug out some. So 28 blocks from the top. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to want to dig down 23 blocks. Now, obviously, don't dig straight down, but you're going to want to dig. You don't have to dig under here. Like this wall right here is fine. Just leave it alone. But you are going to want to dig out whatever size you've chosen. Seeing as how I've chosen 4x5, we have 4 deep and 5 long. I'm going to dig out this area 23 blocks down, so that way the total height of the whole hole is 28. Once you get your hole dug just like this, you're going to want to, on the front end, so since the hoppers are right there, on this front end, I'm going to dig both of these blocks out. And if you were to make yours longer, you would just do every, like a shallow staircase. So if it was 6 blocks long, I would dig out these blocks 2 deep. I'm not really, well, I am dividing it in half, but it's not to divide it in half. It's in order to get this stair step effect, which would continue up if you made this farm bigger. Then all the blocks that are down here, you're going to want to replace with dirt, just on the floor, because kelp cannot be planted on stone. And since we are growing kelp, we need something it can be planted on. Once you've got the bottom done, you're going to want to carve a couple little pockets in the wall. This is just for breathing, and if you have water potions or a respiration helmet, this shouldn't be an issue for you. But since I have neither, I went ahead and dug a couple spots in the wall so I can catch a breath for the next step. In order for water not to go in there, you are going to want to put doors, and when I get up to that one, I will certainly put doors in it. Back at the top here, you're going to want to match the ceiling to the floor down there. So let's build out a block here. So on this back 2 rows, you're going to want to fill those in like so. And, oops, not that one. And just like that. There you go. The next step is where things get a little bit sketchy. So in my inventory, I have 8 buckets of water, which I should have put in the project box, but I forgot. And you're going to want to put a source block on these back ones in this row right here. So I guess I actually need 10, but you should be able to grab a source from in between them. So if I put one here, nope. Okay, I guess I do actually need 10 blocks. So yeah, you're going to put 1 source block on each of the back blocks in the top corner, and 1 source block on each of these, the back of this lower step. Once you've got your hole all filled with water, and you've removed all the dirt except for the stuff we intentionally put on the bottom. Next comes the kelp. So on each of the blocks down here, for instance, take this corner block, I'm going to build the kelp up all the way until I can't put any more kelp. This will change all of these water blocks to source blocks. If you don't do this, then when you destroy the kelp, when you come down here and harvest it, it won't float to the top. Instead, it'll get stuck by the downward stream. So here we have it. I have made it all the way to the top. I cannot put any more blocks. And that's exactly how we want it. You do not have to fill the entire shaft at the same time. So for instance, since I only had 32 kelp, what I'm going to do is run down here and just cut the bottom out and just swim back to the top, pick up what I can. So you'll see the stuff in the corner can float to the top. However, the rest of it is being forced down by the non-source blocks. So just like we did with this corner block, we're going to repeat the exact same process for every single surface block of the bottom. Once you've got all the water in your hole turned into source blocks with the kelp, you're going to just want to go ahead and go down there and plant all your kelp. So the farm will essentially be active at this point. Just one little sprout on each block. Now they won't always grow to the top of the farm, just because of the way kelp grows. Sometimes it goes all the way to the top, and sometimes it doesn't quite make it, which is fine. Either way, the farm will still work efficiently. The next step is going to be to remove that dirt we put in place. So we'll go ahead and grab a shovel. Start knocking it out here. You can hop up here. And there you have it. Now, unfortunately, it looks like the kelp isn't going to quite make it, but I believe we should be able to solve this problem by going and getting a couple more water sources. Alrighty, so if you had that issue like I had where I sort of misplanned and the hoppers were up too high, you can just put a water source on this block and it should actually just carry across, and then you'll have to put 5 more water source blocks across the top of the back. But all of the entire surface of the water should be flowing towards the hoppers, and the kelp will now flow into the hoppers. So what I'm going to do here in a second is let the kelp grow. Going to let the kelp grow, and then I'll harvest it and I'll demonstrate in the water how the kelp goes up and gets whooshed over into the hoppers. Evidently we have one other minor issue. It appears as though when you open the chest it gets waterlogged, causing it to become basically a source block. So the solution is to take out the chest here, remove these 2 hoppers, and then we're gonna have to put I guess we'll have to remove these 2 hoppers first. We'll have to put the chest up higher so it's not touching the water. Let's go over here and grab it. Like so. The hoppers will go there and there. Alrighty guys, we should have a bit of kelp grown at the bottom. While I was waiting, I took the time to fix our wall here and installed another entrance. So we just open the trap door, drop down the ladder, and we go swimming. During the farm's operation, you're probably going to want to keep the door closed just in case. So as you can see, the kelp is nowhere near fully grown. An average harvest, all the kelp will be up about here, but for demonstration purposes, this is enough. Let's catch a quick breath. And if we come down here and we just start hacking, you're not going to want to destroy the bottom ones, just the top ones. Let's catch another quick breath here. And we can watch it float. One more set of bubbles. And you're going to see it here in a second start whooshing over into the hoppers. Even the stuff that's all the way here against this wall should be picked up by the current. There you go. And there you have it. It's getting collected in the hoppers. Oops. The hoppers will carry it over and drop it in these here smokers. Both of them are going. And the dried kelp comes out the bottom. Now, as far as getting XP, these furnaces will store XP for infinity. So you could let this farm run and continue harvesting kelp for hours and hours and hours, and the XP will just slowly build up. And the way you harvest the XP is obviously by grabbing the product out of here. But as you can see, because of the hoppers, it flicks away pretty fast. So the solution is just to grab a lever, sneak, and drop it here. If you flick it, it should lock the hopper, and the next item will just stay in there. You grab it and you get your XP. Now, kelp doesn't give hardly any XP, so you are going to want to make sure that both furnaces get to smelt a lot before you'll see any type of real XP gain there. But yeah, that's essentially the whole farm. And here we are at the end of today's episode. We completed our triple whammy. We got our cow crusher outside in the front yard. We got our enchantment setup behind me, as well as the kelp XP farm. I'd like to thank everyone for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.